Hi everybody, it's Debbie with Debba Do's How-Tos, and you might want to check out my Facebook page, Debba Do's Originals, but I'm not doing much business right now because I sell a lot of party decorations and a lot of parties are being canceled because of the COVID-19. So I'm doing a video. I've been asked by a lot of my friends to show them how to make the Super Tonic. I know a lot of you probably have heard of it. It's called Super Tonic, Firewater. The basic ingredients are going to be apple cider vinegar, and you want to make sure you get the raw, organic, unfiltered apple cider vinegar. And there's a lot of different brands available. One is Bragg's, which I don't have an example of, but this is the White House, and see it says organic, raw, unfiltered. This is from Costco. This is Kirkland. This is from BJ's, this is Vermont Village, and of course Trader Joe's has their version of the unfiltered raw organic apple cider vinegar. And this one here, you can see when it's raw and organic, it's got what they call the mother on the bottom. You can shake it and it should have that sediment on the bottom, and that's the good stuff. So there you have that. Then what goes into Super Tonic is horseradish root, and this is some crazy looking stuff here. That's really crazy. Horseradish root, if you can find it. It's hard to find. I did find this at Wegmans about a week ago, and I think all of this, and I get a lot because when they do have horseradish, I buy extra and I shred it and freeze it for my next batch because it's hard to find. But this amount right here was $10. So it's a little more expensive, but if you can get it, it's great. If you can't, I guess you can use like the jar minced horseradish if you can find that. It's probably the second best thing. And then of course, ginger. These are some crazy looking things too. Ginger goes in there. I have scrubbed the horseradish and the ginger down with a scrubbing vegetable brush and a little bit of vegetable cleaner. Onions. And I've already peeled them for the sake of the video. I'm going to put them in the food processor. Garlic. Oh my gosh, it takes a lot of garlic because each of these should be about a cup once they're chopped. And I don't even know if this is going to be enough garlic. And I usually do a double batch. So, and then cayenne peppers. I could not find them right now, so I got habanero peppers, and these are jalapeno peppers. And I will be putting gloves on before I handle these, because they're hot. In fact, even handling all this garlic, I had a little sore and it is burning right now. But as for the garlic, I found this little guy. You can get him on Amazon. It's like a little tube, and it's a roller for garlic. And if I can move some of this stuff out of the way, I'll show you how it works. So you basically put the garlic in here, because this is a lot to peel, and if you had to do it by hand, it would be crazy. You put the garlic in here and then you just roll it like so. And the peels come off most of the time. Well, here's one where the peels came off on this one. I think because that one was smaller. I'm going to put a big one back in here. And roll this guy a little more. And the peels, most of the time, all these guys worked, but now I'm doing the video so it doesn't work. Okay, there we go. So most of the time they come right off like so, and that way you don't have to try to peel each one individually. I like this little roller guy. And most of the time, and we saw this in a cooking show, my husband and I got tickets as a gift from my son and daughter-in-law for Christmas to go to a cooking show. And they had this when we were cooking our meal, and I just loved it. So they had them there in the store, and I bought it. But I noticed they also have them on Amazon. So I'm rolling these, get the peels off of those. See how nice that comes out? Most of the time. So that's that. And I'll just put this aside for now. You don't have to wait for me to peel all this garlic. But so you basically are going to need a 1-gallon jar. And right now Walmart should be getting these in for the summer. I couldn't find a 1-gallon jar, but I could find these for like drinks and lemonade. And as long as you don't have the stopper down like I just did. It won't go everywhere. But you'll need a 1 gallon jar, wherever you can find it. I make a double batch, so I'm using this one. This is my big double batch jar that I use. But, so basically it's going to be 1 cup chopped garlic, 1 cup chopped onion, 1 cup chopped peppers, 1 cup chopped ginger, and 1 cup chopped horseradish root. And you might be able to find it in an international store. I think I found it once at an international store. They had a real big one. And it was so much, I ground it all up in my food processor and froze some of it for later. And then also, if you can get turmeric root, but this is really hard to find right now. I do find it at the health food natural marketplace downtown Warrenton, but because of this COVID-19, they're closed right now. But we can put the powder, we can put the turmeric powder in there. If you can find turmeric root, it's very, very expensive. I think it's like $22 a pound or something. So I would only get a couple of the little roots and grate them and put them in there. But you can use the turmeric powder. So basically, let me zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. A little closer. I think that'll do it. I'm going to put my food processor over here close so you can see what I'm doing. And this is not a really, really super precise recipe because I've put extra of one thing and not the other, or whatever I had, and it still works great. So here's my food processor to make sure it's, yep, going to be able to be viewed. So just to help the food processor out a little bit, I'm going to cut into smaller chunks the onions. And I like to do, I'm going to do my garlic first because the garlic has allicin in it, which is the antiviral property. It's called allicin. And once you chop it up and it hits the air, it needs about 10 minutes or so to produce that allicin. So I do that one first. It's noisy. But, you know, garlic is very antiviral, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, all those things. So this is going to be a lot of garlic. And sometimes I don't even have 2 whole cups when I double my recipe. But you can definitely smell it. That's going to be my garlic, and I'm going to put that in. And you can see here, I probably should get it down on the sides and do it one more time so I make sure I got it nice and ground up. You can see that. Make sure it's nice and ground up so you can get the good benefits out of it. One more time. There we go. So I'm going to put this guy out. And right there. Put this. In my big jar. And of course, if you're doing a half batch, you're going to use 2 bottles of the apple cider vinegar. And I'm doing a double batch, so I'm going to use 4 bottles. That's why I have a bigger jar here. So that's that. Then I'm going to do my onions. I also read somewhere that once you chop up your onions, you should let them sit about 10 minutes or so, and you get some good qualities from the onions once they hit the air. So I'm just going to chop them up into smaller pieces here to help out the food processor. Put that in. If you can see me on the video, it's not being cut off. Maybe I should move back this way a little bit. So that's a lot of onions there. A lot of garlic. but I'm making a double batch. You would only need about 1 cup of each. Ooh, stinging my eyes already. Whew. Strong onion. So you can still find onions out there. Most of the stuff you can still find, even with the shortages in the grocery stores. I'm gonna chop my onions. So there you go. I love a food processor because if I had to chop all that by hand, that would be a lot of work. So I'm gonna pull this out of here. Put this in my mixture here. And you know, I'm not really measuring, I'm just approximating that would be about 2 cups of onion. Like I said, it's not truly really precise. If you want to do it precise, you can use a measuring cup. In fact, if I look at this measuring cup, that does look like about 2 cups of onion. May not be 2 cups of garlic, but here's another little clove of garlic I'll put in there that I missed. Ooh, my eyes from those onions. Okay, let's do this garlic. He's just in there all by himself. lonely clove of garlic. So you will need a spatula to get this out, to get it all. So there's some more garlic. And you know, if any's left in there, it'll come out with the next vegetable that I chop. So put this back in here. Now for the peppers, I highly advise you wear gloves because they're hot, and if you get any on your hands, they're gonna burn, and then if you touch your face, you're really in trouble. So I'll start with the habanero peppers here, and I'm just gonna, you know, you don't even need to peel your garlic if you're gonna filter all your veggies out and throw them away. You don't even need to peel the garlic, but I learned from my friend Robin, hi Robin, that you can keep the veggies and put them in vegetables and stews, just a little tiny amount, and it'll add a lot of nutrition and flavor to your soups and stews. So now I peel everything because I know I'm going to use my veggies later, but you don't have to if you're just going to filter all of it out. I would advise scrubbing them down though. Scrubbing them down with a vegetable wash and a good vegetable brush. So I'm going to turn this just a little bit here so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. And you can even include the seeds. You know, normally you seed a pepper because that's the spicy part, but you do want the spicy part. And I understand turmeric needs like black pepper to activate it, to activate its anti-inflammatory properties. So I'm thinking these peppers will do that instead of the black pepper, but just in case I'll put a little black pepper in. And then put some jalapenos in there. Like I said, I'm approximating about 2 cups because I'm doing a double batch. You only need 1 cup if you're doing a single batch. So just cut the stems off of these, and I'll just chop them a little bit to give the food processor a head start. I'm right over the top of this thing with my face. It's very strong on my eyes here. So this is our version of flu shots. My husband and I don't get flu shots. Whenever we feel a little sickness or tickle coming on, we take a shot of this Super Tonic, and it usually takes care of it. It helps with allergies, My husband is a drywall and painting contractor. If he breathes in the drywall dust, he might start feeling like he's getting a little sinus thing going on. And I'll give him a couple shots of this Super Tonic, and it usually just goes away, and no more complaints. So everything in here is anti-inflammatory. You know, the horseradish, the ginger, the peppers. You know, you've heard of using cayenne pepper for arthritis because it's anti-inflammatory. The onion is anti-inflammatory. The garlic is anti-inflammatory. Everything that's going in here is anti-inflammatory, and if you think about it, most diseases start with inflammation. So I don't see a downturn on using this Super Tonic by any means. I don't know of any side effects that would hurt you. So it's a win-win. And you can see I left all these seeds in there. The seeds are where the real pepper qualities are. I don't want to have to breathe this in, but there's what it looks like. Chopped up in my food processor. I'm trying not to breathe it. Oh boy, it's strong. These are strong peppers. So just for kicks and giggles, let's see how much this is. Let's see if I'm estimating about 2 cups here. It's pretty close. I guess I've made this so many times I just kind of look at it and tell. That's 2 cups right there. Pretty good. Pretty good estimating. Anyway. And it's not a real precise thing. So we'll put that in there. Add that to our recipe. Use your spatula. And then put this back in here. It doesn't really matter if you don't have to rinse it off because it's all going to get mixed together anyway. I'm going to just chop this. This is the ginger now, and I'm just gonna, you can break these off, make it a little easier. And when I scrub them, I break some of these off so I can get to all the nooks and crannies. Because it's a root vegetable, it's grown in the ground, you wanna make sure you get it clean if you're going to not peel it. And maybe I could peel these, but it'd be a lot of work. So I prefer to just scrub them down, put them in here, peel and all. And I just chop them first, put in there. See, when you're scrubbing it, if you break these off, you can get in all the nooks and crannies to scrub it really good. Which I did a little bit, not a whole lot. And again, I'm just estimating. I'm not using measuring cup. Ooh, the ginger smells good. I like to grate ginger and put it in my tea. That's really good. So ginger you can find in the grocery stores all year round. It's the horseradish and the turmeric root that are hard to find. And you might have to search a little bit. But like I said, the international stores, you can find horseradish root most of the time. If you go look there. And if I have extra grated horseradish root, I'll freeze it in a plastic bag, and then the next time I want to make my Super Tonic, I have it. I don't have to go looking for it, or if it's out of season. There's a certain time of year when they've got it, and then other times of the year you can't find it. So I'm thinking that's enough ginger. Kind of noisy. Just bear with me. Ginger. Smells good. Smells really good, really healthy. So I'm going to pour that in my mix here. I'm sure it's probably been about 10 or 15 minutes for the garlic and the onion before we pour our liquid in there. So that's why I do it this way. I pour the liquid in last so that the garlic and the onion have a chance to breathe and get all their medicinal qualities activated there. Okay, the next thing is the horseradish root. And I'm sorry I'm sniffing. I mowed yesterday and I have ragweed and tree pollen allergies. So I'm sure it's not ragweed right now, that's the fall, but the pollen and the grass pollens, they give me allergies. I'm gonna have to use a sharper knife. This is a really tough root. So I sharpened these knives before I started this, but see that? That's a tough one. It's gonna be hard on my food processor, so I'll try and cut it up as small as I can. Another thing is you could try grating it. And I had a grater here. Here we go. If it's really tough and you can't cut into it very well, you can try grating it. Take these gloves off here. I have grated it many times, so you can also do that, but it's also hard work. These are tough. So it would look like that. But it's a lot of hard work grating. So it depends on what you're up for. You can also grate the ginger if you'd rather. But I found it just easier to do that. So just for the sake of the video, this is going to take me a while. I'm just going to show you what it looks like. Pour this in, and I can do the rest later. Ooh boy, that'll open your sinuses right there. If you've ever had a little bit of horseradish on your prime rib, you know that will definitely open up your sinuses. So let's just say I grated all my turmeric root. And I will do that after the video. But for now, I have, since I'm doubling my recipe, remember, I'm doing 4 of these, and you would probably just make sure you shake up all that good stuff off the bottom. You don't want it to stay in the jar, in the bottle. You want all that to go in. See how it's sticking on the bottom? You want that to come off of there and not stay in the bottle. You want all that. That's your good stuff. So see how I did that? Then I'm gonna pour this in. One. Another one. See all that stuff on the bottom? Gotta get it off. And I think we got it all in this one. We want all that good stuff. They call that the mother. Don't know why, but that's like the sediment of the unfiltered raw apple cider vinegar that you wouldn't see in the pasteurized filtered one. And that's your good stuff. So this is number 2. Pour this in. And my mom, I'll show you how to mix this with honey. My mom, who passed away a couple years ago, she had a lot of heart problems. She had a lot of health problems, but she swore by this to help her sleep at night, mixed with honey. She would take a couple teaspoons of it, mixed with honey, and she claimed it would help her sleep, and she had a lot of trouble sleeping. She was 78 years old. She had a lot of trouble sleeping, but she loved to take what she called this Firewater. But if I mixed it with honey and cinnamon, she would drink it, no problem. So she would take it to help her sleep. Now here's another one. We gotta make sure we get it off the bottom here. Want all that good stuff, which I did. Okay. So here's here's my number 3. If you were using this 1 gallon jar here, remember you would only use 2 of these 32-ounce bottles of apple cider vinegar. And we'll just call it ACV for short. So you would do 2 bottles of ACV, 1 cup chopped onion, 1 cup chopped garlic, 1 cup chopped cayenne pepper or habanero pepper or whatever peppers you can get, 1 cup of horseradish chopped. What I miss? Onions, garlic, 1 cup of garlic chopped. So good that's looking already. And then I have 1 more bottle here, because this will be my bottle number 4 since I'm making a double batch. You would only do 2 bottles, I'm doing 4. Oh, I forgot to shake it out too. Get all the good stuff off the bottom. See, I want to make sure I get all that. I shook this one already a little bit. So they're discontinuing this Vermont Village brand at BJ's. Don't know why. It's my favorite brand. I love their organic unsweetened applesauce. That's being discontinued. This Vermont Village apple cider vinegar raw and organic with the mothers being discontinued. I don't know why they're doing that, but they are, so you might not be able to find it there. But just about everybody's jumped on board with the raw organic, and you can buy it now. So there is our mix. We are missing turmeric. So I have some turmeric powder. I buy the organic. And I'm just gonna put a whole bunch in there. I don't know how much, maybe a couple teaspoons or something. I might add a little bit more when I make my mixture with honey. But, and just because I heard that you need black pepper to activate turmeric, I'm just gonna throw some black pepper in there, just in case the other peppers don't do it. Throw some black pepper in there to activate the turmeric. So, and that doesn't have a lot of color to it, so I might add a little bit more turmeric. I usually like it to be a dark orange color, and then I know it's got enough turmeric. Turmeric is very anti-inflammatory also. And I've heard people make turmeric milk and drink it every day who have arthritis and inflammatory problems. So here we go. Here is my mixture. And personally, I would put this down in my downstairs kitchen on the counter, and I would put a dark towel over it, because I've just found from making my kefir, and I used to make water kefir, now I make milk kefir, it likes dark places. So I would put a dark towel over it, but give it a stir like every week or so, if you think about it. Give it a little stir. And it doesn't have to be closed tightly. This is just a loose fitting lid that I use. And so I would ferment this for 30 to 60 days. If I was out of my Super Tonic, it didn't have any, and I had some kind of illness trying to come on and I need a little swig of it, I would siphon some off. And this here is my batch from a couple months ago, and it's pretty hard going down. It's pretty spicy. So this is what I do, and everybody seems to find it. My husband won't take it any other way, but I have to mix it with honey. So I make sure this is shook up really good. This is my Super Tonic from a couple months ago. It will keep like 6 months to a year at room temperature. You don't have to refrigerate it. So there's Super Tonic, and then I get the raw unfiltered honey, and I add that to it. And I would say I do about 1/4 honey to 3/4 Super Tonic. So you just kind of look at it down there and just do about 1/4. And you can taste it and add a little more if it's not sweet enough. And then now I would add a little bit of cinnamon. or actually quite a bit. I'd add some cinnamon to this. That's quite a lot of cinnamon right there. And then I would add some more turmeric. And this is my super tonic with honey. And then you want to make sure you get that mixed up. So you'll want to shake it every time you want a little swig of this. Now my dad is 81 years old and he has really gotten to like this stuff. Every time he said he feels a little flu-like, hi Dad, he takes a little shot of this once or two or three times a day. You can do it because it has antiviral properties, antibiotic properties. You can take it like you would an antibiotic, like 3 times a day. And every time he gets achy or flu-like or feels a cold coming on, takes a little shot of this. And this is a shot glass that I use. I usually do a shot glass like that of this honey super tonic mixture, about to there. Or you could do like my mom, just take a couple teaspoons or a couple tablespoons, but if it burns your throat, you can drink a little water afterward. But there's my super tonic honey mixture. And I think I've told you everything. I'll do a second part to this once I'm filtering out the vegetables. I will filter them out with a strainer. I'll spoon them into the strainer, get all the juice out, and then I take all the vegetables and put them in cheesecloth and squeeze all that juice out so I make sure I get it all. And then I just use a funnel and I put it back in these bottles, just the liquid, and I can store it 6 months to a year and it's good. And I'll put super tonic on there. And I guess that's it. I'll do another video with that later on. And you will need a funnel that has a long skinny spout that can fit in there to put that back in there. Then the vegetables, you can either discard them, or like my friend Robin likes to do, we can put them, and I did this and it was very good. I just put like a tablespoon of these vegetables in our chili and it was good, and I put some in our soup and it was really good. And then you know, you could freeze them in little individual baggies in the freezer. You know, you can buy these little snack bags at Walmart. You could put just little amounts in little bags, put them in the freezer, and then just throw them in your soups or stews or chilies to add a little zest to them. So there we go. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, post them in the comment section below. Thanks a lot.